Okay, and welcome to our new show, XFL Huddle Podcast. Guys, you want to introduce yourselves and take it away?
Yes, how are you guys doing tonight? My name is William D. Morgan. Along with my co-host, we have Josh here with us. Josh, how you doing, man?
Pretty good, man. How are you tonight?
Doing fantastic. Doing fantastic. Guys, this is going to be our XFL Huddle Podcast where we cover everything XFL. We go over teams, news, transactions, opinions, and of course, when the game starts, we're going to get you up to date with all the latest action going on in the XFL. But the first thing we want to do, tough week. We lost an all-time NBA great and Kobe Bryant. What we like to do is take a 30-second moment of silence for the great Kobe Bryant. All right, all right. Thank you for indulging us in that 30-second moment of silence for the great Kobe Bryant. You shall be missed, my friend. Now, let's go ahead and move into the rest of the show. Josh, I think you had some news you wanted to go over before we started.
Yeah, man. We're only 10 days out from kickoff, man. It's getting exciting. Uh, there's a lot of things have been going on. The 52-man rosters were released this week. So, on top of that, teams are now practicing at their facilities, getting ready for week one. They're all getting ready for those week one mashups. Man, it's going to be crazy. And then next week, depth charts are getting released. So we're going to know starting quarterbacks for each team, who's getting that number one running back spot. And then just the other two things I had was this week was it was announced there's not going to be like official fantasy. Uh, ESPN's going to watch it this first season, and then they're going to go from there. But there's a bunch of different like alt groups that have already jumped on that wagon, and it's getting exciting, man. 10 days out.
Yes, it is very exciting. And in case you guys didn't know, I haven't been following, this is an 8-team league. We got the DC Defenders, we got the Seattle Dragons, the LA Wildcats, the Houston Roughnecks, the Tampa Bay Vipers, the New York Guardians, the St. Louis Battlehawks, and the Dallas Renegades. So please go out and support the team nearest you. I think, Josh, the difference this year between the last time the XFL was formed, we have more star power in this league, and B, they're in I'm not gonna say better cities, but there are more football cities than they were before.
Well, if you look at it, every city they picked either has a team or has had a team. Um, they really did their research in where their teams were going to thrive the most. And it's a better iteration altogether. Like they've made some key changes. It's just going to be a better game. Like they've been saying, less stall, more ball.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, and we're gonna have two different divisions. We got DC, St. Louis, Tampa Bay, and New York over in the East, while over in the West we have Dallas, Houston, which is going to be a huge rivalry, and maybe we might have LA and Seattle being a rivalry too. But then West Coast, we never know. But hey, I am excited. I am ready to go. And in case you guys didn't know, there's a special. The rules have been somewhat tweaked, and I'm gonna let Josh go over those rules and get you caught up to speed. Josh?
Yeah, so I mean, there are a lot of changes. Some good, some weird, some I've got to see how they're going to play out. The biggest change so far that I've seen is going to be the kickoff. The kicker's going to start off, the kicker's going to kick from the 25-yard line. The ball's got to be in air or in play, and it has to land between the opponent's 20-yard and end zone. If that does not happen, there will be an illegal kick procedure. They will immediately move the ball to the 45-yard line of the kicking team.
Yeah, that's weird. Different.
I'm sorry? Go ahead.
It's a little bit different, but yeah, I got you.
The coverage teams then will line up on the 35-yard line while the return team lines up on the 30-yard line. So there's going to be almost no gap between your line. There's only going to be there are 3 players on each side of the hash mark on the outside of the ball, and they cannot move until the returner either has the ball or it's been on the ground for 3 seconds as signaled by the referee waving his hand.
Okay.
That right there is a huge change.
There it is.
It's going to allow for returners to really take advantage of being able to kind of plan a route and move. You're going to see way less touchbacks and a lot more plays made on the kick, which is exciting because we're all worried about safety and everything, but kickoff has become one of the most boring plays in football.
And plus, also, you put more. Each team has to put value on that special teams unit.
Exactly. The special teams unit is going to play a lot more roles in the XFL than it ever has in the NFL.
Yep.
Because it's going to be a lot more gameplay coming to it than it has ever. The other big things as far as kickoff are if the ball's kicked into the end zone or it is downed in the end zone, it's considered a major touchback and the ball placed on the 35-yard line.
Okay.
Like I said, they're trying to do away with touchbacks, trying to make it go faster. The last thing as far as kickoff that I saw that's really a big deal is going to be if a team wishes to perform an onside kick, it has to indicate to the official before the play, and the 2 teams will be permitted to line up in traditional NFL rules. There will be no surprise onside kicks. Like I said, they're taking a lot of the slowness of the game out. They want to keep it exciting. Just the rationale behind these changes for the XFL was to eliminate safety issues with kickoff. The NCAA and the NFL created more opportunities for touchbacks. It just slows down the game. The XFL proposed rule changes will encourage more kick returns while making the play less dangerous by eliminating the 30-yard sprint to collision.
This is going to really make this league really move. And the thing that I'm excited about it's the speed of the game.
Yes.
As I said before, you have to put value in special teams on both units. So that's going to make it better. And then your normal offense that you have in this league. You got some good quarterbacks that played in the NFL coming over. Cardell Jones is an example. Aaron Murray is an example. So you've got some really good players coming in to speed up these offenses. Hit up the special teams.
You got in Houston, you got PJ Walker, Connor Cook, both top level college quarterbacks.
Exactly. So you have those players who can really make this game exciting. We're gonna go over Cameron Artis-Payne. I'm looking at big things from him. We're gonna go over him in our player spotlight in just a minute. So this can be a really, really good league, and I think because of rule changes that add speed to the game and more offensively, because let's be for real, defense may win championships, but no one wants to watch a defensive struggle on TV. No one, no one wants to watch that. So this is going to be the game's going to be sped up, and it's really going to be a great thing to see. And that's why I think this time around it's going to be more successful than it was the first time.
That's one thing I want to see. Like I do agree with you. Offense makes games exciting, but it does worry me. These games have potential to be very, very high scoring. Like I'm talking 50, 60, 70 points may not be crazy.
Nope.
Now, what kind of brought me back on that a little bit was watching the preseason games they had, seeing those scores. They weren't insane. Now, mind you, a lot of the starters didn't play but one down in those games.
Yeah.
But I think you are going to see defenses are going to adjust to this type of play. Defensive players are going to adjust to this type of play. So you're going to see players doing things that you don't normally see them do in the NFL, but I think you're going to see crazier picks, crazier fumble made because defenses are going to have to figure out new ways to play.
Mm-hmm.
Go back into the rules because you were talking about the scoring. I mean, like I said, scoring could be crazy in this. The double forward pass. This is one of those rules. I think it's strange. I'm excited to see how it plays out. So in the NFL, you can only throw one forward pass unless that first one behind the line is a lateral.
Yes.
In the XFL, you can throw a forward pass to your receiver, and as long as it does not pass the line of scrimmage, he can then throw it downfield to another player. This would allow for you to have possibly play two QBs at one time, line them up as a wide receiver. I mean, this could open up so many plays, but this is also one of those plays I'm talking about could make for crazy scoring, especially with some of the positions that you could end up with on kicking. Like you could end up on your opponent's 45 or your 45-yard line. So we'll see how that turns out.
In that scenario, you could have to take out a tight end, put another quarterback in, and run that gadget play.
Exactly.
Oh, this is going to be exciting. This is really going to be exciting. And you also get this to me is more of a second chance type of deal for a lot of these players. Antonio Callaway, for example, former Cleveland Brown. This is going to be a second chance for him to show that he can actually play. Let's see what he does for the Tampa Bay Vipers.
I mean, Sammy Coates, dude. Sammy Coates. I've been watching videos of him for the Roughnecks, and he's going to put on a show. He's going to show out.
I think he is too. I think he kind of got buried in the depth chart.
Yes, he was in a very draft that year. It was a huge wide receiver draft class. You had a lot of big names come out. He got kind of buried because he wasn't quite as good as some of those other names, but he's still very talented, and he's honestly gotten better.
So it's going to be very interesting to see what these guys do. Now, any more rule changes we need to know about before we go into our next discussion?
Yeah, the one I really want to cover after that is the point after. It's going to be different. So there is no extra point in the XFL.
Okay.
The team have a choice of either going for a 1 point on the 2-yard line, a 2 point on the 5-yard line, or a 3 point on the 10-yard line. This is going to play so much in the game implications. Like lead changes are going to could flip back and forth almost to an extent of like baseball.
Yep.
Quickly. And then with that, the punt, go for it on 4th. There's no touchbacks or a touchback is the 35-yard line. So they're eliminating coughing kicks, and if the ball goes out of bounds, it's on the 35-yard line or at the spot of where it went out, which is ever better for the receiving team.
Okay.
Other than that, just real quick, go over a couple things I know people are going to be excited about. Only 1 foot in bounds in the XFL.
Yes.
That's a crazy thing. That's going to make it where these receivers are going to, I mean, one of my favorite best guys, DeAndre Hopkins, can do so much with 2 feet. You imagine what you could give that guy if he only had to get 1 foot down?
Yep.
And, I mean, that's going to be a crazy advantage for these wide receivers.
It is.
The only last thing I wanted to mention is comeback periods. Like we've been talking about, they're wanting to make the game more exciting. The game clock will not stop until the 2-minute warnings of each half.
So it keeps going.
I'm sorry?
It keeps going. The clock keeps going.
Clock keeps going. Okay. Unless you get into the 2-minute warnings. And then, like an incomplete pass, that totally stops the clock until the ball is snapped again. But if the ball stays in field, the clock stops until the ball is placed and in a 5-second runoff. Then the clock starts again.
Okay.
There's only 25-second game clock, and it starts after the ball is spotted.
Okay.
Comeback period, what they're calling this. So that's just what I was saying. Like, they want the on-field game clock will stop after the ball spotted at a 5-second, or if it's incomplete, once it's next snapped.
Okay.
And I think, like, there's a couple more things, but nothing real big. The overtime, I'm excited to see how that plays out. It's going to be like a sudden death, back and forth, almost like hockey, kind of, like a penalty shot in hockey.
Yeah.
But it's going to be crazy. I've been watching videos of some of these rule changes and some of these preseason games, and they definitely, like I said, it's got potential to be high-scoring games. I'm excited to see how the defense, these DCs, how they pick it up.
And another thing, too, not only do defensive coordinators have to have their head on a swivel, a head coach also has to have his head on a swivel, too, because he's going to have to adjust even faster.
Exactly.
So
yeah, when the defense starts to figure something out, how are you going to adjust to that?
Right. And that's gonna make this different than the NFL. And like I said, I really like it. I really do think that this is going to be a success this time around. So let's see what they do. Now, as a group, guys, we are covering 2 teams each. So, Josh, what 2 teams are you covering?
So, I'm in Texas. Here in Texas, we were one of the few states blessed to have 2 teams. So I'm a Houston boy at heart. I'm covering my Roughnecks. Coach and GM is June Jones. June Jones from the Oilers. I mean, that man is football history. Like, that run and shoot offense, I'm excited to see it and play again. You don't see that in the NFL anymore. So it's going to be exciting to see that back. His quarterbacks, so they haven't named who's going to be the starter yet. I think it could go either way. So you got PJ Walker or Connor Cook. Both of these guys are top-level QBs. I mean, I'm excited to see which one gets it. If I had to have my pick, I think Connor Cook is probably a better QB, but PJ Walker was our assigned QB in the draft, so we'll see how that goes. The other team I'm covering is going to be who I think is our big rival, and that's the Dallas Renegades. That's Bob Stoops. Everybody knows Bob Stoops. Yep. OU coach. I mean, that man is college legend football coach. And then he's got his boy back in Landry Jones. If he's healthy, he's hoping to start the first game. If not, it's going to be Eric Dungy. That I hate with Landry Jones playing. They are definitely one of the top to win the whole thing. I don't know if I can say that about Eric Dungy.
So let's see what your two teams do. Don't you guys play each other this year? I think what, week 3?
Twice.
Okay. Wow.
It might be 3.
That might be it. That might be a nice little rivalry.
Oh, it's definitely gonna be because it's just so close that both teams can both bands can travel. So
yep. Might be a situation with the Cowboys Texans in the XFL. So
exactly. Except this time we're conference rivals. So it's even gonna be even better.
Yep. All right. The two teams that I will be covering the Seattle Dragons with head coach Jim Zorn. We all know Jim Zorn from the Washington Redskins from 2008 to 2009. Also, he was a quarterbacks coach up with the Seattle Seahawks 2001 to 2007. We're going to see what he can do. Right now, they already have their starting QB penciled in with Brandon Silver, so we'll see what he does from Troy University. 6'3", 224 pounds, stereotypical quarterback, so we'll see what those guys do. That's my hometown team. Those guys have already, we talked about it beforehand, 20,000 tickets already sold.
20,000 tickets already sold. They are leading the pack by a huge margin in ticket sales. It's crazy. It's going to be, but I mean, like we said, Seattle they love their football. Y'all crazy for some football.
Yes, very much so. And then my other team that we're covering is a little bit closer to home, being that I live down here in Augusta, Georgia. The Tampa Bay Vipers, head coached by Mark Trestman. We all know who Mark Trestman is. Had some time with Chicago Bears back in 2013, 2014 on that staff. So, and then he also coached over in the Canadian League with the Alouettes from 2008 to 2012. So he's back over in the great United States of America. I'm believing his starting QB will be Aaron Murray from the University of Georgia. I watched him play a couple of years ago. Great quarterback in college. So let's see if his skill set can translate over to the XFL. And of course, the Tampa Bay Vipers did pick up Antonio Callaway, 5'11", 200-pound receiver from the University of Florida. Had a stint with the Cleveland Browns.
I got to tell you, that was a big pickup for the XFL as a whole. Callaway's a big name, the Vipers got a heck of a running back. That man is a tank.
I'm just hoping Callaway stays on his P's and Q's, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but that's another big thing. XFL's not testing for marijuana at all.
That's true. That came out today. That they will not be testing for marijuana. And hopefully, I don't know if I'm thinking that the NFL should adopt that rule, but I don't know if they will.
It should have a long time ago. The problem with what gets in the way of the NFL is owners. Owners get in the way of that.
Yeah.
I'm excited. They made some big changes on the field, off the field. And we got 3 years no matter what.
Yep. At least 3.
Because Vince has put in that money. Did you hear what he did for U of H in that field where the Roughnecks are playing? So he replaced that field, put in a brand new field for opening day, and then U of H will get it after that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. And I know Vince sold some of his stock in WWE to make this thing happen. So
yes, a huge chunk of stock, it was over 1 million shares, in the beginning. And he has said that he was prepared to put $500 million into it over the next 3 years.
So please head on out, support your local team.
Go see your teams. Go get your gear.
Yes.
We got to make this work, because I was reading an article today about how the spring leagues work. They give guys a second chance. The one guy, I can't even think of his name, but the one guy from the Los Angeles team that won it all in 2001, he went on to have a career in the NFL after the XFL when everybody thought he was done. One comeback player of the year one year, took the Steelers to the playoffs. Like, it needs to be seen as giving players that never got the shot a shot, and players that got the shot and something came up a second chance.
Yes, it does. And I really think, too, that if you go out there and show the support, and guys, don't get it twisted, there's merch out there, too.
I'm wearing my Roughnecks hat already. Got it for Christmas.
There you go. There's merch out there for it. So support your local team.
I mean, you got have you seen these balls? Have you seen the footballs?
I saw the footballs today, as a matter of fact. Yep.
Man, those things, I want one, but I can't bring myself to drop that kind of money. But I want one because they are nice, and every home game is going to have, like, that team, the home team is going to play with their ball.
Yep. It's going to be amazing, man. Now, we do want to do a player spotlight very quickly. The guy I want to talk about is a former NFL player, played for the Carolina Panthers, and Cameron Artis-Payne. And the reason why we sort of kind of chose him is because he does have years in the NFL. And I think, again, just another dude that just got lost in the shuffle, so to speak. He was in the rotation, and for some reason he fell out of favor. What's your opinion of Cameron Artis-Payne, and how can he impact the XFL?
I mean, 3 seasons NFL with the Panthers, like you're saying. In that 3 seasons, he had 5 rushing touchdowns, 491 yards. But he was also, like you said, he was playing double duty with another person.
Yep.
But he was an SEC champion in 2013 with Auburn, and first team all SEC 2014. Like, he is a great running back. I watched video on him trying to, like, learn some stuff about him with the Panthers, and he's not a finesse player. Like, he's kind of like a bus. Like, he's going to plow through you. I'm excited to see what he does lined up with Landry Jones, because he does have some hands. He can catch the ball. I'm excited to see what that duo does. Bob Stoops is just crazy inventive offensively, and Cameron Artis-Payne, I think, is definitely going to be one of the players to watch this season.
Oh yeah. He should do that. He should be a very productive player for Dallas. I really think he will be. He should be a very productive player. All right. Is there anything else you want to get out before we close up shop for the night, my friend?
I don't think so. I mean, the only other thing was, did you hear that Pat McPhee might be backing out of the analysis position?
Yeah.
I'm a little bummed about that. I was excited. Like, I wanted to see Pat McPhee in a huddle interviewing some guys while they're trying to discuss the play. Like, I wanted to see that. But I guess it's not as free and as movable as he was under the impression it was going to be. And so he's going to do the first week, the Battlehawks game. Mm-hmm. He's going to do that first week and see how it goes, and then we'll go from there. But I hope he decides to stay, and I hope they give him a little bit more freedom, because if there's one guy that could do the fly by your seat of your pants type reporting, it'd definitely be him. Like, he would be perfect for it, and it would be some very much comic relief, but still be football focused.
Yes, very much so.
And then real quick, we got to say it. They're already talking XFL football game.
Really?
Yes. I've already read a couple of articles. It's already in the talks. Supposedly Vince is already talking to 2K because they do the WWE games. Now, I don't know how well that's going to work now because if you follow the last W2K20 was absolutely terrible.
Yep.
But yeah, there's already a conversation about XFL coming to the video game screen, so that we'll be excited. Definitely listening to see on that. I think that's all I have. Like I said, we're 10 days away. Like Will said, get out there, buy your tickets, go support your local team. If you can't go support your local team, get a watch party together. Just let's support this. Let's make this work.
All right. And guys, I want to remind you too that this is being brought to you by the fine folks over at the Stables Network. I want to thank those guys for hosting us, helping us get the show out there to you each and every week. Also, head over to our Facebook group, the XFL Huddle Podcast Facebook page. We'll have information there that you can check out, starting with the schedules coming down. We'll be sending invites to the podcast. Any news clippings we have, you'll be able to find those there, and much, much more. Ah, if there is nothing else, that's gonna do it for us. Josh, thank you for joining me tonight. I do appreciate it.
No problem, sir.
And if there is nothing else, my name is William D. Morgan, and we'll see you guys again next week. Everyone have a great night and take care.